Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I've heard quite a lot about the plants that are available at B&M stores and in the garden centres. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a quick trip out. It's about 6-7 miles from where I am at the moment. There is two B&M stores, both have got garden centres. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at both of them and compare what they've got in the way of stock. Now, looking online through YouTube videos and things like that, people have posted that they've got amazing kind of palm trees and cordylines and olive trees and things like that at fantastic prices. So yeah, that's my kind of main goal, is to have a look for those things and to actually see what is available locally to me at what price. And my other goal is to look at filler plants that are going to be used to kind of fill in some of the gaps, particularly in my front garden, since I have done the big tropical style makeover. So yeah, I'll be looking at sort of fairly cheap filler plants that are going to be pretty hardy and just going to do the job for me with my garden. Where it will help you guys is I will show you some of these things that are not tropical plants but can be used within a tropical style garden and bought on a relatively low budget. So let's go and have a drive and go and have a look to see what both these stores have available. So this is B&M in Portsmouth in Oceans, I think Ocean something Business Park. So let's go and have a look to see what they have in stock here. I've just had a quick look around to see what they've got, and the smaller plants look in quite good condition, but their palms and that look extremely dry. Although they were good value for money, I probably wouldn't recommend buying them from here. I've just noticed we've got a little pack of sempervirens for £8.50, which is a bit of a bargain there. We've got all things like the cordylines are at £10. The red ones look quite good. Let's just have a look around. So we've got various grasses. It's a good selection of grasses here. They're all kind of £6.50. Various ones. Then we've got small cordyline up here, which are £5. And here, so let's go and have a look at the palms. Yeah, not good condition. So we've got some Trachycarpus fortunii, which are £37.50, but they are extremely dry. And their height wise, they're about, let's have a look, 80 centimeters tall is the actual plant, and then you've got about 25 centimeters pot on there. You've got a really good olive tree at £100 on there, and you've got the cordylines, which are £37.50. Quite a decent size and decent price for what they are, but not in great condition. This, to be honest, is heartbreaking. £150 here, and it is dry as a bone on there. So yeah, not good quality at all. But we do have Boutia at £50, 20-litre pot, and that one actually does look in quite good condition on there. I'm tempted by these. These are the Waggy palms, and they're £37.50. And yeah, they actually quite, so they've got a 40 centimetre trunk on these, and they do look quite nice and green. They're still a bit dry, but not as bad as the others. So yeah, for £37.50, quite a decent deal. I've heard about these are £35 for a yucca. Doesn't say the variety, but I believe from other YouTube videos it's hardy to about -2 Celsius on there. So that's that. Then around, just having a quick look around, we've got more cordylines around, all super dry on there. I can't see any Camerops hominis volcano, which is what I am after. So there's none of those here. But so I'm going to hope that the next place has them in stock. Let's just have a look at some of the smaller plants again. So we've got regular cordylines Verdi at £10. We've got loads of herbs and lots of bedding. These are quite good though, I must admit. These for £8.50 are very tempting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at, go to the next B&M, which is a little bit nearer home. So I'm going to go to that one and hope that they water their plants. And hopefully I'm planning to try and pick up a waggy palm and some of these Sempervirens as well. But that's probably all I'm going to be interested in. So we're losing the light now, so I'm going to go and head to the next place before it gets dark. Also, which is quite shocking, bamboos in this condition. I'm not sure how much they are, but there we go. So they would be £30. So yeah, how dry does a bamboo have to get to be like this? So anyway, yeah, I'm going to head to the next B&M and I will see you in a minute. Fingers crossed that their plants are in better condition. I do want to buy one. So, right, I'll see you in a second. Right, so I'm now at B&M in Farlington, which is about 2 miles up the road from the last B&M. And you see it's got a garden centre over here. So fingers crossed they actually water their plants, because the other place did not see a hose pipe or a watering can for a long time. So fingers crossed that I can hopefully buy something at this store. Okay, so this store, their plants are in a hell of a lot better condition than the last store. So they've got the Trachycarpus fortunii, which are at £37.50 for those ones, and they've also got the Phoenix canariensis at £10. It's an absolute bargain for one of these. Very, very cheap. A little bit of a throwaway plant, but at £10, yeah, that's not too bad at all. So you can use it like bedding if you need to. And they've got the olive trees at £100, although they're slightly smaller on there. The Trachycarpus fortunii, the big ones, 150 for those. And to be honest, this one on the left, it's got a really good trunk. So yeah, for 150 quid, that one is an absolute bargain. So somebody is going to get a really good deal on that plant, and it's in a really decent size pot as well. The bamboos are in better condition at £30 as well, so they're really good. And they've got some cordylines, some of them are a little yellow on there. The cordylines, let's just see, they should be £37.50 as well. Yeah, they are £37.50. There's some that are tied up like that. So they've probably got about a foot of trunk at the bottom. So that's the outdoor display here. These are the waggy palms. I think they're a little bit smaller than the ones at the other place. And they do actually have one of the volcano palms, which I just need to measure. So it's in a 30-litre pot at £85. And yeah, it's well watered, it's good. Another Fortunio at the side there. We're just going to measure that one up just to see the size of it. So yeah, the Volcano is 55 centimeters tall, and you'll see the trunk in there. So the trunk is reasonably, there's probably about 20 centimeters trunk on it, and yeah, in the 30-litre pot. £85 I think is probably, well, it depends on how you look at it. Online I think you can get a better deal from Hardy Palms for one about this size and about that age. So yeah, I think they come in at about £55, so 60 odd quid delivered. They are in a smaller pot, but essentially they are probably a little bit taller than this one. Let's have a look at the bedding. Got some nice little aces at £20. And do they have the Semperverniums? Can't see any. They've got a few ferns. £12.50, which is quite good. So these are really good filler plants. So they'd be really good. Past the amazing palm tree again. Okay, so we've got some Cuba, 3 for £10, £4 each, which is a good deal on those ones. Well, that's cool. They've got some of these little terrariums at £15. That really is a bargain. Very, very tempting. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Let's carry on round. So they've got things like lupins, which do have quite a cool, funky leaf on them. So they're pretty good. Obviously you've got your cordylines, which are at £10 again. There's the green and the red one. So basically it looks like they do have different stock. Each store does have slightly different stock. So we have got herbs again, which I must say are in better condition on there. And lots of geraniums, all that kind of thing. Yeah, just lots of bedding, gooseberries, raspberries, all that kind of stuff. Just while I'm going past, so they do have quite a good selection of pots at pretty reasonable prices, I think. Particularly if you need a big pot to put a palm in. How much is the nice green acer? £50. That's a nice vibrant colour. Not bad for 50 quid. Let's just see whether these little rockery plants are available in this one. We've got over here. We do have most of the little plants sort of £6.50, not bad. The little ones are always sort of 4 for a tenner. Hookeries and things like that. Okay. Oh, they've got some fancier spider webs. Up to those, they are £8.50, but they're quite small. But to be honest, that will grow on really well this year. It's actually not too bad a price. Lots of fescue grasses, carex grasses, this sort of thing. Again, really good for underplanting. £8.50 for a little Pyrrhus. Although the one I bought the other day was a tenner in the clearance, and it was about 5-6 times bigger. And we've got some peonies up here, which are £8.50. So that's quite a good deal as well. And lots of compost available. So yeah, loads of compost. Some little euphorbias. How much are those? No price on them. I got some similar ones from B&Q for £7 the other day. So they're good stocking fillers. And yeah, hostas are a good thing to use as well, which are a £5. So that's a good deal for those ones. And yeah, £10 for a little red cordyline. So that is the selection. So I'd say, yeah, slightly different selection to the other store. I'd say the plants are in a little bit better health here. But yeah, having different plants available kind of means it is worth checking out the two different stores on there. But yeah, they haven't got those little alpines, so I may go back to the other store and grab those. The red robins here, £65 for a nice standard size one. So anyway, I'm going to leave the video there. So I would say, yeah, definitely try out different B&Ms because they do have a different selection in each one, and they do seem to look after their plants slightly differently on there. So yeah, the other store obviously had the Butia palms, which this one doesn't have. Okay, so I've made it back from my trip to B&M. The original mission was to kind of have in mind potentially buying a little bit bigger specimen of a Camarops volcano if they've got one, and also looking for kind of filler plants and things like that. So what did I end up purchasing in the end? Slightly different to what I thought I was going to be getting, but I've purchased two of the Trachycarpus wagnerianus palms, known as the Waggy palm. I actually went back to the first store that I originally visited with all the kind of dried out palms, but they had three of these in that location, and although they were a little bit dry in the pot, they were a bit bigger than the palms at the second place that I visited. So I decided, seeing that it was 2 miles up the road, that I would drive back to the original store just to get initially one of these. And then basically I couldn't decide between the two that were there. And well, there was three there, but there was two that were of a decent size and the other one was slightly smaller. And I thought, well, actually, although I've got a small waggy palm in the front garden, I could actually swap that with a bigger one, which will shave probably a couple of years off of its growth. And thinking a little bit more about how I want the garden to look this year, I was thinking, yeah, that's going to be a better purchase. And because these were at the bargain price of £37.50, I thought that was a really good option. And worst case scenario, I could sell the smaller one in the future if I didn't find anywhere else in the garden to get one. So I'm just going to quickly show you a little bit more detail about what sort of condition these palms are in. Particularly, they have been soaking in water. So yeah, so they've been soaking in water literally since I got back. So I've given a good hose out, so they should be pretty damp. And yeah, let's have a look properly at the root systems and everything to see what you get for your money. because although £37.50 is quite a lot of money for a plant to put in your garden, uh, it's not expensive for these particular palms. They are a little bit rarer than the Fortunii palms. So let's have a quick look at the root systems and everything. Okay, so let's have a closer look. So just to confirm the measurements of these, they stand at about 1 meter 15 centimeters tall, and the trunk size is roughly 35 to 40 centimeters on there. As you can see, the left hand one here has a slightly thicker trunk than the right hand one. But yeah, so let's have a closer look. So you can see the central growth point here. We've got a nice new spear emerging on this one, and on this one we've got one that's kind of just about to unfold, and a much smaller one that focuses a little bit just below it there. So root system wise, just bear with me a second, I'll take that off. I'll pause it a minute. Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, root systems, really good. Really strong roots on there, and that is all the way around the palm, so that is going to grow away really well on the ground. So when I put it in, you can see these ones might tease out a little bit, but that one in particular is ready to go into the open ground. So they don't look so bad now they've had a bit of a soak actually. Let's have a quick look at the details on the label. So Trachycarpus wagnerianus, the variety there. Ironically, it's got a picture of a watering can. And on the back, you've got week one, these were. I would say where it says D in that bottom left hand corner. So they've probably grown in Italy on there, and it's got its UK plant passport there. And I presume that's the might be the date that's shipped on that C. So not too long ago. So you've got care instructions here. Focus on that a little bit. Now it says should be protected against the worst of the winter weather, but these are pretty hardy down to about -15. So I've got some in the back garden that have been down to about -8 and they look exactly fine. So let's have a quick look at those compared. So what I will do is I'll pause the camera again, and then we can actually see one of these next to one that's been in the pot for 2 years, and it was bought at a slightly smaller size than these as well. So let's have a look. Okay, so a bit difficult to see because they're obviously at different heights, but you can see this is a waggy palm here, and this one has probably got a 50 to 60 centimeter trunk on it, and you can see the lovely big leaves, although small for a palm technically. So that's the comparison. So where will these go in the garden? So they were going to go, I think they're going to go in the front garden. One's to replace one that is already in the ground, which I will do tomorrow. And the other one, I'm not quite sure about the location because I'm going to have a little bit of a move around with some plants tomorrow just to get them in their final positions on there. Okay, so just to summarize the shopping experience between the two stores. Obviously, yeah, first store stock was very dry, but if you take the dryness out of it and you just look at what the stores are stocking, you've got one store which had the Boutia palm and a few other where it had the slightly bigger waggy palms, which are here, and a few other kind of filler plants. And then the second one, which is the Farlington branch, they had more waggy palms but smaller, and they had the Phoenix palms were about a tenner each. They were a tenner each. They were slightly smaller than the Phoenix palm I've got here, but probably not by a huge amount. And about probably a couple of months ago, I bought those at £20 each. So yeah, these ones were a little bit more expensive. But yeah, so B&M, essentially, if you want to get some bigger architectural plants in your garden to fit in with this tropical style, then they are worth a shout. You've just got to be a little bit selective on what you buy, and you may have to shop around between different B&M stores just to see what is available. Um, if you're after a particular plant, you're definitely going to have to do that. I'm not sure whether one single store is going to have a full range of everything. But ultimately, if you're keeping an open mind about it, you can just go along to the store and just pick up an architectural plant for your garden. So, though the experience was a little bit mixed, I would say overall it is worth going to B&M if you're after a palm tree or a tropical style plant. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed viewing this video and sharing this experience with me. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the like button, and I will see you guys on the next video.